Good evening, Aggie fans, and welcome back to another edition of the Aggie Pridecast. So happy to be back with you. This became a very busy time for us in Aggie Athletics, which is a good thing. Of course, we had our magnificent run through the WNIT with women's basketball. Spring sports got really cranked up and going. Softball just ended their season, had two postseason awards, second team All CAA. Went to Joey Barkheimer, and then the CAA All Rookie team was Jamari Moss. And so outstanding season, first season for Jose Gonzalez Jr. and looking for better things for the program. Of course, men's and women's tennis have already wrapped up as well. And so right now, just looking into track and field, man, such a wonderful, wonderful sport, such an exciting sport. And A&T has a chance. The CAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships start tomorrow at Elon University. And so my guest today is our director of track and field, Mr. Alan Johnson. And Coach, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah, man, I'm doing well. I remember we had you on when you first got here, and
Yeah.
you were trying to learn the waters and trying to navigate a little bit. And I could just see in your face, there's just a little more confidence in you, just a little more ease for you. And so tell people how this journey has been for you thus far, taking over this massive A&T track and field program.
It's been good. I mean, last year, my first year, I was trying to figure everything out. Not that I have everything figured out right now, but I can see I can see things a lot better, and I'm definitely a lot more comfortable and growing into the role where it's not nearly as stressful as in the beginning.
Was there a point where you felt like, okay, I'm starting to get a hang of this in terms of, certifications for students, hiring coaches, scheduling track meets, hosting track meets, all the things, man, you got a big time job as the director of track and field. You're over six programs, which is
Yeah,
more than anybody on this campus. And so, was there a point where you felt like you hit your groove?
I'm still hitting my groove. Um, because the thing is so when I first got here, there were some things that the previous staff had already done to prepare for the 22-23 season. So then, even though August, I was an entire year into the role, there were some things that I was still doing for the first time. So now that I'm coming around and I'm finishing up my second year, I can, in my mind, I can see the entire year for the first time.
And explain to us a little bit of what that means. You can see the entire year. Does that mean like now you can see 2, 3 years ahead in terms of kind of how you want to position the program?
Well, yeah, that, but also more importantly, in the shorter term, knowing exactly what needs to happen when, like as far as housing for incoming freshmen, exit interviews, setting up the schedule for next year, getting buses, just all the logistic things that are outside of coaching that have to take place throughout the entire year. Cross country schedule, indoor schedule, outdoor schedule. So I'm starting to better see that now instead of when it actually comes up time to do it.
We're here with Alan Johnson, director of track and field. Before we get into the weekend, let's kind of go through the season. I don't think we had a chance to talk to you during the
Mm-hmm.
indoor season. You guys came up 7 points short on the men's side of winning the first ever CAA championship for the entire Department of Athletics. Kind of describe where you felt like the shortcomings came in terms of just coming up short in that second place finish to Northeastern, I believe.
Yeah, so we were a little short on the sprint side as far as the points were concerned, but coming into the meet, we were expecting, obviously to do the best that we can, but the jumpers were the ones that uh, really did exceptionally well for us, better than expected. I mean, our throwers always come through, but this time the jumpers that we had, they exceeded where they were going into the meet. And then the sprinters were good, but uh, we weren't exceptional. We weren't like truly exceptional. We were just good everywhere.
And then as far as the hurdles, you guys, had a great indoor hurdles. We'll get into the outdoor
Yeah.
hurdles a little bit in a second, but just Jason Holmes, Avion Reed, those type of things. Just kind of what has really magnetized and energized the hurdles program within the track and field program.
Well, we have a lot of talent. We have a lot of talent, and I think that Coach Terrence Trammell, who was a hurdler himself, two-time Olympic silver medalist, he's taken charge of that group and done an exceptionally good job. Um, he's with those guys day in, day out, drilling them and stressing the importance of just all the little things at practice that you're supposed to do. Walking in the door with the right attitude, being serious. Not a lot of playing around when it comes time to put the work in at practice, and it's showing on the track.
I know you guys have been doing some heavy recruiting. I know because I get some of the schedules that you guys do.
Yeah.
And to shout out to Coach Hopkins, love you.
Yes.
But do you kind of have an idea of kind of how you want to build this thing now? Now that you said you've got your feet wet a little bit, do you
Yeah.
kind of have an idea of exactly kind of how you want this thing to look in terms of the makeup?
Well, yes. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the best athletes available, the best athletes who can to get us one, try to win a conference championship, two, be one of the top teams in the country, regardless of event. So we have the coaches in place that are good enough. Actually, I shouldn't say good enough. They're exceptional, and they can get whoever we need to that level. So we are not going to focus on any one area. Now, typically, what happens is when you're good in one area, then that seems to attract more and more people in that
Right,
same
right.
same event area. But for me to sit here and say, hey, okay, we're going to focus on, say, sprints. No, we're gonna take the best athletes available, the athletes that want to come and be Aggies, and excuse me, and can get us over the hump and get us where we need to be. Those will be the athletes that'll be on the team.
Speak to that a little bit. You kind of hinted on it a little bit. I don't, and you would know better than I, but just from my experience, it just seems like track and field athletes are very, very particular about who coaches them, in that area. Was that in the forethought of your mind when you went out and started building your coaching staff? We need people in here where kids are going to want to come and be coached.
Yeah, definitely. As my time in this business, I've looked around and when you're an assistant, you always sit back and say, well, if I was a head coach, I'd do X, I'd do Y, I'd do Z. Once you actually get in the seat, things are a little bit different. But for me, where I am right now, it's still about, making sure that the coaches are there, the high quality coaching. Because you have high quality coaching, you recruit the talent, the coaches will enhance that talent.
Yeah.
So if we
Describe.
can
Oh,
if we
sorry.
can have if we can have field events, um, long triple, high jump, pole vault throwers, hurdlers, and sprinters, middle distance even. I mean, we're branching into that area a little bit more as well.
Describe your staff a little bit. You mentioned Coach Trammell already,
Yeah.
two-time Olympian, silver medalist. Got Cornell Prince, got Aeneas Hopkins. Describe them a little bit and what they bring to the table. For you, can't forget Amber. Amber is always super
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
She's outstanding. Love working with her. But describe them a little bit and what they bring to the table.
Okay, so we touched on Terrence a little bit. So then we have Cornell Prince. He coaches the 800-meter runners, so middle distance and distance. Um, he was a professional athlete himself. Had a personal best in the 800, 145. He's a young guy. He connects really, really well with the student athletes. Um, he still runs a little bit himself, so he can, if he needs to, he can kind of get out there and really show them himself. what they need to do in a workout and how it needs to be done. And he he knows the little intricacies of the middle distance races, and he can impart that to them. Then we have Anise Hopkins. She's just all around great. I mean, she's in charge of our recruiting. Um, she was at UNLV before she got here. She was the interim head while she was there. So she coaches our jumpers. So, and again, like I said, indoors, the jumpers just they exceeded expectations. So, she's in her first year here. She's been here maybe about 9 months or so, and she's showing that she can do the job very, very well. And then we have Amber Monroe, who's the associate head coach. She's in charge of throws and all of the other logistical things that need to be done. And she's been coaching the throwers here for I think it's 6 years now, and they're always consistently at the top of the conference.
Yeah, no question about it. Braden Hodges, Carlos Alexander, Julia, they all have
Yes.
excelled here in North Carolina A&T. They do an outstanding job. Do you see yourself adding more coaches, especially any maybe administrator, to kind of help with some of your logistics, or are you pretty much set where you are?
Coaching wise, we're set where we are, but administratively, we're looking to add one more person, director of operations, and that's in the works right now. So I'm out there looking for somebody to fill that role, and what that'll do is that'll free up Amber, that'll free up Anise a little more, so they can focus even more on the coaching and recruiting.
As the head coach, do you see yourself more in the? You mentioned you were assistant for some time. Do you see yourself more now in the CEO type position, where you kind of just, handle point and click and kind of direct people to where they need to go? Or are you still kind of in the get your hands into the coaching a little bit?
A little bit of both. I mean, I'm definitely still coaching, but then as the head coach, I feel my role is to keep a pulse on what's going on in the entire program. So most of the coaching is the responsibility of the other four coaches. And I basically just coach the 400-meter runners and 400-meter hurdlers. So that way it gives me an opportunity to try to move around and maybe be at some of the other practices and try to watch and continue to develop a relationship with everyone on the team. And because when you coach a lot of athletes, sometimes, at least for me, I believe it's more difficult to really keep a pulse on the entire team and keep a relationship with all the athletes.
Outstanding. Here with Director of Track and Field, Alan Johnson. Talk about what track means to you. I believe your wife was a track athlete.
Yeah.
Your whole life is kind of right now revolved around track. What has this sport meant to your life? And we're going to talk about the Olympics that's coming up as well. But what has this sport meant to you over the years? It's pretty much like in your DNA now.
I mean, for me, track has been everything. I mean, I've been doing track since I was 15 years old, which was 1986, and it paid for my college. I did it for a living when I left college, and here I am now still, what is that, almost 40 years later? I go to track practice every day. I've been going to track practice every day since 1986.
Wow.
So, and I love it. So when I was a little boy, I used to love going outside to play. Being at practice is me going outside to play at 53 years old.
Well, I was going to say you're telling your age, but you literally just told you.
Yep.
You look good though. You look good.
Well, thank you. And I get to be around the athletes. They're young, and I get to kind of figure out some of the hip things that they're talking about, and slang and their music. So it's fun.
I noticed at the banquet you didn't try the Usher challenge though. Is there a reason why?
because I can't sing at all. at all. Not even a little bit.
No, yeah, well, we're the same in that regard. Yeah, no question about it. What are some of the hip things that the kids bring to you? Do you any come to you and come to mind?
Just some of the music and just some of the slang. I'm trying to think of something. Uh, like last year, one of the things was, when they finished saying, somebody said something, they said, "Oh, period." I'm
Yes.
what is that? Oh, it's like period.
Period.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, what's that?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No doubt. No.
things like that.
No cap. I know that one too.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
cap. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I have quite a bit of few interns, so I have heard period.
yeah.
And that's always a good one, and not too much and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Say,
they do
oh,
keep
here's one. Oh, say less.
say, say less. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So let's say a little more as we go forward. Olympic year. First
Hmm.
of all, your thoughts on that, and second of all, where is an athlete at this point in time of the year in an Olympic season
Well,
in terms of the training? Go ahead. I'm
okay,
sorry.
so for the collegiate athletes, it really isn't that different because you're still doing the collegiate season. Um, this is the basically this is the main conference weekend that's happening right now. Then in 2 weeks we go to the preliminary rounds of the NCAA championships, and then 2 weeks after that will be the NCAA championships, which is the normal training cycle, normal peaking period. But then 2 weeks later is the Olympic trials. So um, depending on how the performances are throughout the year, kind of determines how much of a shot that you have at the Olympic Games. Um, for a professional athlete, with it being an Olympic year, this is about the time you're starting to unload and starting to peak to get ready for that day, which the Olympic trials I think starts on June 20th. So it's right about 5, 6 weeks away. So you're starting to unload and really get ready to get sharp to try to make the team. Because the thing that's so difficult about it is that a lot of people don't realize at the Olympic trials they just take the top three people across the
Hmm.
finish line. It doesn't matter how fast you ran before that. You could be the world record holder. If at the Olympic trials, if you finish fourth, then you try again in 4 years. It's just that cut and dry. So everybody's going to be on edge, and a lot of it, it's physical, but a year like this year, it's more mental. More, I think it's more managing the stress of the event.
Yeah, no question. Like we had a couple of really close episodes. I remember a few years ago, well, maybe many years ago, we had a kid, Clecio Newman,
Hmm.
kind of looked at the clock before he crossed, and the guy just edged ahead of him to make it to the Olympics. And then, of course, 3 or 4 years ago, Ross Jr. ended up
Yes.
making it at top three, and so certainly just an exciting time for A&T.
Yeah.
This time of the year in terms of trying to get one of ours into the Olympics. Jason
Yeah.
Holmes has a 13:43 in the hurdles. As you look at what the top runners are running throughout the country, where does he stand in that? How much faster does he need to be as the Olympic trials kind of approach?
I think if he could get down into the high 13.2s, I think he would fare well there. Making the Olympic team would probably take right around 13 flat.
Mm.
Um, I mean, of course, I would love if he could get down there, but where he is in his development right now, I think high 13.2s is something that he can definitely achieve before the Olympic trials. But Jason is the type of athlete that if you put him in the environment and he gets geeked up to go, you don't know what he's capable of anything. I've seen him
What?
do some things this year that I've really, really been amazed by.
Yeah, he's amazing, tremendous athlete. Also could contend for a 200-meter title
Yeah.
this week at Elon
Yes.
University. So just a tremendous, tremendous athlete. What did he learn from indoor? I think you know, uh, perhaps the expectation was that he was going to come away with at least a first team All American
Yeah,
nod.
it was.
And so, what did he take from that as we kind of head into postseason for track in the spring?
I think the biggest thing that he learned was that it's unforgiving. One, two, that these guys are not better than he is.
Mm,
It's one thing to you're running the times, but when you haven't competed against guys who have been there already, guys who have won, guys who are first team All American, um, in your mind you're like, yeah, I can do it, but then to go there and to be right next to him and run against him, it's like, okay. He was very disappointed in his finish, but at the same time, he was like, I can't believe this happened to me. I can beat these guys, and I was
yeah,
like, I know you
yeah,
can. So
yeah.
as a coach, when you hear things like that, you're saying, okay, this was a bad outcome, but he got an opportunity to see that they're not better than him, like firsthand.
Can you identify with that? Being somewhere where you're being somewhere for the first time, the bright lights are there. You
Yeah.
mentioned is it becomes more mental than physical at some point in the juncture. Can is there something in your past where you can identify with where he was at that moment as a sophomore in an indoor environment?
Oh yeah. I mean, there were times. So I was at the Olympic trials for the first time. I was a junior in college,
Mm,
and it was my first time running against the elite athletes. And then I didn't do well, but watching, I was close enough to their backs to say, oh, okay, they're not going as fast as I had imagined that they were going.
right.
So, so I didn't, like I said, I didn't do well either, but I knew that I could get there. So that gave me some confidence, even in that moment.
How excited are you about his future? You've you still have 3 more years with him outdoor
Right.
theoretically. So how excited are you about what he can bring to the table here? I mean, he's already doing some great things. How what's sky's the limit for this guy, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, very excited. I mean, he's at practice and he's bringing the other guys along. He's cheering for the other guys. He's one of the leaders on the team that when the guys meet, their conversations are about winning conference titles and winning national titles. And these aren't things that are prompted by me or other coaches on the coaching staff saying, a lot of times it's easy to, hey, you guys need to get together and start talking about this stuff. But they're doing it on their own, and then you sit down and talk to Jason. He's saying, yeah, me and the guys were talking, and we think we can win conference next year. We can win conference this year. And just the excitement and hearing the enthusiasm and his voice and their voices about the future for this program.
Talking with Alan Johnson, director of track and field. Uh, Real quick on the women's side, they finished sixth indoor.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see that program, and how much work do you feel like you need to put in order to kind of get them in that same contention that the men were during indoor and that we expect them to be during outdoor?
Yeah, we're working there as well. We've we had more people leave the women's side than the men's side when the change was made. But Luciana Weaver, Juliet Nwosu, they're eager also about the future. I mean, the main thing that we're going to have to do now because of graduations is we're going to have to recruit. We're going to have to get out there and really, really recruit hard and get some Aggies in here and win.
What is you say get some Aggies in here? You've been here for now. What is your
Right.
ideal Aggie? What kind of Aggie do you want in Alan Johnson's program?
Somebody that's
From
going to work hard and kick ass and take names.
Love it.
Because and I say that because you got to be able to come in here and say, you know what, we're going to go out there and we're going to line up with the big dogs and we're going to show the big dogs what's up. Period,
Yeah.
as they say. So, and not everybody's cut out for that. You know, some people, they need, a lot of people have affiliation needs. I need that. And Aggie has achievement needs.
Mm.
Achievement needs more so than affiliation needs.
Yeah. 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 You know, track and field is one of those unique sports where, you know, it's not so much the Power Five name that means anything. It's the measurements and the time. That's kind of
Right.
what it is. And so when you step out on the track, it doesn't matter what the name is. It's kind of,
Right.
you know, I can go get it. And certainly that's happened before. It's happened recently. You know, certainly we've had some people line up big time with some big time schools, the name anyway. And so is that kind of the thing that you tell some of your recruits a little bit, like, hey, we can run with these guys. It's, you know, we've got a history. We can go with these guys.
Definitely. I mean, that's that Aggie pride. You know, I didn't know Kayla White well before I took this job, but you know, being around her and with me being the head coach, she has reached out to me and talked to me, and you know, even just talking to her about it, you know, it's she loves A&T.
She does.
And
She absolutely does.
She really loves A&T. So
yeah.
You know, getting people like that.
Shout out to some of the Aggie legends, track and field, listening and watching us today. Odell Benders, A&T Sports Hall of Famer, high jumper. Damian Vaughn, just recently inducted into the A&T Sports Hall of Fame. Some really outstanding former track and field athletes listening here. Carla Alexander, I don't know if that's any relation to Carlos, but shout out to her listening to us here on the Pridecast. So glad you guys are joining us. Of course, our fan favorite here, Arlene Mitchell. She likes to kick ass, take names motif that's going on there. So outstanding. And head football coach Vincent Brown joining us here as well. So, you know, certainly shout out to all of those guys. And thank you for joining us here. Let's talk a little Elon this weekend. You got some guys on the men's side coming in. Lucas, I believe in the long jump is number one. Of course, we mentioned Holmes, number one in the conference. 4x1 should be entertaining with Campbell University. 4x1 and 4x4 should be entertaining with Campbell. Hampton has always got some good sprinters. How do you forecast this thing for the weekend, Coach?
How do I forecast? You put me on the spot. I mean, we have some stuff in store for them. I mean, especially 4x1 hurdles. You know, looking at Caleb Lucas in the long jump to do his thing, as well as Aeneas Reed. I mean, if well, the biggest thing is if we can go 1-2 in the long jump with those two guys, that'd be huge. Campbell on paper is in front of us with the 4x1, but we've made some small changes with the exchanges, so they got to be ready for that. They'll get to see on Saturday. You know, and then our hurdlers. I mean, with you know, led by Jason Holmes and Avion Reed, Thomas Smith. One of the things that'd be crucial to go 1, 2, 3 in that event, and then turn around in the 400-meter hurdles and go 1, 2, 3 in that with Avion Reed, Isaiah Taylor, Xavier Taylor. So, and then Isaiah Taylor, he's going to run the 400 as well. So his practices have been doing very well. So if he can, our goal is if he can score more than 6 points between the two events, which we're hoping he can do, that's going to be good. The main thing is the top people get their points, but the thing that's really going to put us over the hump are the people that on paper aren't supposed to make the final and they do. The people who on paper are sitting 7th and 8th and they jump up to 4th. You know,
Yeah.
the ones who are number one in the conference, they can't do anything better than get number one. So
And
it's gonna be the supporting cast that really makes the difference. As long as those top people do what they're supposed to do.
yeah, if you get in the finals, who you need to get in the finals,
Yeah,
those points will start to add up a
yeah,
little bit for us. And then maybe the throws jump in there. You get a Braden in there to
yes,
maybe take shot put and discus. Carlos
yeah,
gets in there to kind of mix it up a little bit. And now you've got the throws
yeah,
also in that mix as well. And so certainly there's some points out there to
yeah.
be gotten. And then there's a few more events, if I'm not mistaken, in outdoor that we can take advantage of versus indoor. Probably 400 meters, 400 hurdles is kind of
Yeah,
one of those events. So
yeah. I mean,
certainly,
also the 800. Like one of the things that was really good for us in the 800, we got points in the eight where previously, like last year, we did not. So between Dawson Grogan, Cameron Kennedy, Caleb Conway, and the rest of those guys, finding a way in the prelims to get into the final. And
no
that
question.
that's going to be the thing. I mean, getting in those prelims, running the prelims hard, and getting into the final and surprising people.
No question about it. This weekend, Elon University, starting on Friday, the CAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships. The Aggies are trying to go after the men's and women's titles Friday and Saturday, right down the street. Check them out. Could be A&T's first CAA championship conference wise
Yeah,
since joining for the entire department. We are hoping so. Coach Johnson and his group doing such a great job. How entertaining will that women's 800 be? Because all of three of them are right there together with Far Kelly leading the
yeah.
way for us. How entertaining will that be? That women's 800.
It's going to be exciting. I mean, just like it was indoors. Indoors, Fodder was second, but her and Coach Q, they've been working really really hard, and I talked to Coach Q about her today, and he's expecting a major breakthrough. So we got three girls right there at 207. Fodger, go from I think Hampton, and can't remember the other school offhand, but they're gonna.
I think there's a
It's gonna be
Hampton
a
young
battle.
lady, Jordan Mosey, I think her name is,
Yeah,
from Hampton. Yeah, she's right
yeah.
in that
So
mix as well. Yeah,
yeah, so like I say, the thing is, get to the final first. Then once you get in the final, then just let it all hang out.
no question, no question. And then Luciana Weaver, certainly she had to uh, run in the shadow of Paul Simon, probably
Right.
one of the best hurdlers in our program's history. Uh, Talk about how she's kind of emerged and matured from kind of being in that backup role now to kind of being the lead hurdler for A&T.
Yeah, she's so her first 2 years with Paul, it was easier for her to. The pressure wasn't on her. The pressure was on Paula. Paula delivered, and last year at the end of the year when I was talking to her, I said, okay, next year is supposed to be your year, and she kept telling me, she said, Coach, I'll be ready. I'll be ready. I said, you sure? And she said, yeah, I'll be ready. So this year that has been her focus. She's as with any season, there's ups and downs, but every time she's been in a big meet, she's responded. So we went out today to Elon and did a shakeout, and she was going through her paces over the hurdles with Coach T, and she's ready.
No question
She's ready.
about it.
She's ready to take it to him.
Kick some butt and take some names. No question
Yeah,
about it. Yeah, and outstanding young lady too. Very fun to talk to, and just
yeah,
a wonderful personality. And it seems like you got some young talent in the sprints. Pebble Scott, Urbanek as well.
yeah,
It just seems like you got some young talent there to kind of boost the program in the future. Talk about them a little
yeah.
bit and what your expectations are for them this weekend.
So Pebbles a 400-meter runner, and then this year the decision was made to bring her down to the 1 and the 2, and
Wow.
she's been working really really hard all year to try to make that transition. A lot of people think that, okay, well, the 400, you just jump in the 100 is shorter, you run as fast as you can. But there's a lot of little technical things that she's been working on. And I think it was about 2 weeks ago, she had a breakthrough around 11:40. And, she's looking to go even faster. And then we have McKenna Urbanek, who actually walked onto the team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so interesting story about her. When I got here last year, she sent me an email about joining the team, and I told her no. We didn't have room. I don't remember this, but she has the email to prove. She has receipts.
Yes. That's another good one. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she comes out. She sends me an email this year, and I say, okay, well, we'll have tryouts, and we had some tryouts, and I took them through their paces, and I said, well, she seems like she can, maybe she can help us. And again, Coach T started working with her and spending time with her. She just kept getting better and better and better. So, that's another example of an athlete who joined the team, who has exceeded the initial expectations. So so her and Pebbles are right there. They should get points for us in the 100 and 200 meters. And then also freshman Kamara Brody as well.
Yes, young team on the women's side.
Yeah.
Shout out to William Partee. And just wanted to remind everyone that Xavier Partee, that triple jump, he's going to be somebody that's going to have to be contended with. So certainly shout out on that side. And so
that's what Xavier's another guy. I mean, last year, my first year, he came to me, asked to join the team. I told him, well, no, it's too late when he asked me. And, it's walk-ons are interesting because they can vary greatly. So I saw him out in the summertime. He's working out. And I'm saying, okay, well, we'll see what happens when he tries out in the fall. And, came out there and worked with Coach Hopkins, and he just continually progressed and then ended up scoring really high indoors at the conference meet. So he's another one of the jumpers that definitely exceeded expectations. So we're going to see starting tomorrow how he does outdoors at the conference meet.
How much walk-on interest do you get on a yearly basis? Is it a lot, or is it mostly just chit chat on the email? But how much chatter do you get from terms of walk-ons coming on the team?
Actually, a lot.
Yeah.
All the previous institutions that I've coached, that this is by far the most.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I think this year we had maybe 30 people who came out to try out. You get the emails, hey, I'd like to try out. So maybe there's 50 people who say, hey, I want to try out, and then 30 actually show up. And then, you find a handful that can help you, or you think that, the next, especially if they're freshmen, the next 2-3 years can develop into helping you.
Have you thought about why that is, why you've kind of had more interest here at A&T than some of your previous institutions? Have you thought about why that may be the case?
Yeah, I have thought about it. Why? I don't know exactly why, but I assume it's the brand.
Mm.
I mean, A&T and track and field. I mean, that's a team a lot of people want to be a part of.
No question.
People come to A&T and they hear about the track team and they say, hey, I want to see what that's about. Not everybody is of the caliber that can join, but some are. And, I'll always give people a look.
No question. We're here with Director of Track and Field, Alan Johnson. A&T big time weekend coming up for them, the CAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships, right down the street at Elon University. And contrastly, Elon University will come to A&T this weekend to play a little baseball, 3-game series starting on Friday, so it's going to be an Elon full weekend here in the Piedmont area. They will come here to play a 3-game series against the baseball team. Senior Day will be on Sunday. Mother's Day for the weekend. You got Mother's Day plans, Coach? Especially if you win that championship. What do you have something planned for mom or the wifey or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, I do. It's a secret. It's a secret. She's right here. I don't want her to hear it.
Oh man, no question. Can't divulge the secrets here on the Aggie Pridecast without question. Shout out to Kristen Rush, a former track and field athlete here in North Carolina A&T, really good cross country athlete here, and my former assistant. So shout out to Kristen, who did a great job here. The Rush family is big time here at North Carolina A&T. Her cousin played men's basketball here, and her mom, Hope, was the president of the AAF. So big time family here at North Carolina A&T. Coach, what have you taken from being at an HBCU thus far? What has been kind of the funnest part of being a part of an HBCU?
Funnest part about being. I'll say this one thing about just being at A&T is just like I always tell people, the love that everybody has for the institution. Everybody wants to see this place be successful, and it's not just a job. That's the thing that I feel the most. I mean, I've been other places where, yeah, you want to be successful, but it's the job. When it's 5 o'clock, don't call me, because that's when the job is over, and that's not at all the case here. Not at all. So, that's the thing. I don't know what it's like at other HBCUs, but here, everybody's all in.
So you're lucky you guy that keeps yourself in shape, but do you go get some of the ribs during the tailgate during the football season, especially during homecoming? Have you been a part of that, kind of hitting some of those tailgates and getting some of that good food?
I haven't yet, but I will definitely do it this year. Definitely do it this year. Last year was, I was very busy with recruiting and family. So, but this year for sure.
No question. Try the Maury Smith. Try some of that barbecue sauce. The chicken is delicious. And
I will.
Shout out to all the tailgaters out there in North Carolina A&T, and certainly looking to a fun year. Coach, what is the message for the team as we head into the weekend?
Just do what you've been doing. You don't have to do anything extra. Just go out there, execute, do what you've been doing all year. And if they do that, we're going to do great.
No question.
I like to keep everything really, really, really simple.
And after CAAs, NCAA regionals coming up, certainly we got quite a few athletes in contention of qualifying for that as well. And then after that, NCAA Outdoor Championships. So it's a fun time for track and field right now. And then this year is an Olympic year, as we mentioned earlier. So that's going to be fun, trying to see some of our Aggies, some of our current Aggie athletes and some of our former Aggie athletes trying to go for the Olympics. And so that's going to be tremendous as well. Coach, any parting words here before we get out of here, before I let you kind of get focused on trying to bring home that title?
Hey, if you're out there, come on out to Elon and support us. Hey, we need all the help we can get. So things kick off tomorrow at 10 a.m. with the women's hammer. And then the running events start. The other field events and running events start around 2 o'clock. So come on out and cheer us on.
Cheer those guys on, man. Watch the hurdlers, man. We've got a great group of hurdlers, 110, 400 hurdles, outstanding. Like you said, the jumps have been outstanding this year. So certainly worth going out and seeing this A&T track and field team go out and try to do. Luciana Weaver, I mean, make sure you watch her before she leaves here. She's absolutely special as well. And so outstanding weekend. We're excited about it. We're excited for A&T, Aggie Pride, bring home the title. And Coach, I thank you for your time, man.
No, thank you.
All righty.
Okay.
Until next time, we got 3 or more of these to go before we end it for the year. So join us here again next week. I'm signing it off. Everybody have a great night. Bye-bye.
See you later.